The alcohol industry has been left reeling thanks to the sudden return of the ban on alcohol sales announced by the President last week. Now the industry is asking government to suspend sin tax obligations estimated to be around 5 billion rand. The industry body has written to the Finance Minister and SARS asking for that exemption to help, they say, with the financial knock that the industry has taken. It's still not clear what this would mean for the fiscus, though, which is already limping from the drop in revenue collection. Let's unpack the story now. We're joined by industry spokesperson Sibani Mgadi. Thanks very much, Sibani, for your time this morning on the AM report. Take us through, it's been just over a week now since that announcement by the President that the ban on alcohol sales would be re-implemented. Just take us through, some of the things that you would have liked to have seen happen before that was imposed with immediate effect.
Ideally, if we think that government over level 5 and 4, even 3, there have been a great deal of consultation with the business sector in general, including ourselves. And this is based on the understanding that this is a social problem, it's a national issue. We need then all sectors to have a proper buy-in and contribute to capping the spread of coronavirus, as well as the impact on society in terms of bed space and so on. But in this case, there was no consultation at all. We could have come up with very tangible proposals on how this could be managed without harming further the economy. Maybe let me quickly explain how our excise tax system works. It's not like the income tax that you and me pay, where we pay once a year based on a full year income. Ours is we pay every month based on the production already released. So in other words, as soon as you produce a product and you take it off the line and it's ready for sale, you are liable for a tax in it. And those who are importing, as soon as they clear at the port any product that can be sold in South Africa, then they are liable for that tax. Now, what you are saying in this case is we have produced, we have imported products. Those products we are unable to sell, and therefore can the tax obligation be delayed as long as the ban is still on, and then we will start paying after the ban is lifted, because it's based primarily on your opportunity to be able to sell those products and then pay government over time.
Yeah, absolutely. And this would help the industry, I suppose, with job losses in the industry, so that, the extra money is not spent on excise tax. That money is used to retain jobs in your industry.
Yes, it's typical choices that as business people we need to make at this point, especially with the manner in which this decision was taken, no consultation, implemented with immediate effect. That on its own caused a lot of losses. As you know, the FMCG has a sophisticated logistical arrangement that enables you in the morning of a Monday, 9 a.m., to be able to get into a shop and get your product. There are many trucks running and many other people that are involved and production running to fit into that system. In our case, we were told at 8 p.m. that you can no longer do that. And it led to losses for both us, the manufacturers who are supplying the products, as well as retailers who were preparing themselves to open that Monday morning. So we need to make certain choices. There is impact on employment. This sector employs support around about 1 million jobs, and there need to be choices that are made. We have a number of suppliers, starting from small agricultural farms that provide input, the glass industry that we procure glass and cans from, the advertising and marketing industries that support us to stimulate loyalty to these brands, as well as the overall other retail side of the business and distribution. So all of that, you need to take decisions as to who do you pay and who do you don't pay under the sudden shutdown of the industry.
Yeah, so you've explained to us the impact on your industry, and of course, government losing out on what would be, your sin tax obligations would be around 5 billion rand. There's an obvious impact there on government coffers. How do we balance that out?
Well, it's unfortunate. I think the Minister of Finance, as well as the Commissioner of SARS, has explained this in detail during the first lockdown as to how much it's impacting. And we estimate that the level 5 and level 4 lockdown led to a loss of about 18 billion in revenue for the country. For government alone, it's 3.4. So in this case, we have a tax obligation for July, 2.5 billion rand, as well as August 2.5, rising up to then 5 billion that we are talking about. Now, if this was the case, and understand that this is an industry that contributes 3% of GDP of South Africa, turnover of 137 billion, we needed to have been consulted, honestly, and to take a decision in this manner. And what is even more disturbing is that we were told that this is based on scientific advice. The Medical Research Council of South Africa, which is supposedly had given advice on this issue, has made it very clear that they never push for a ban. They pushed for some form of restriction, of which then we were happy to discuss. And it's clear that this decision was never a scientific one. It's probably got various other reasoning behind it, which you would like to better understand.
So, Sibanye, at the risk of sort of trying to rewrite the past week's history, you talked about the president reimposing the ban last Sunday without any consultation with your industry. If you could go back and propose other solutions, because we know there is a correlation. It's now been proven there is a correlation between the sale of alcohol and the amount of beds that are occupied by alcohol-related admissions to our hospitals. So how can we protect the industry, as you say, which is a major contributor to our fiscus, and save jobs in the industry, but also balance out the imperatives in the middle of a pandemic? What would be some of your suggestions?
Yeah, firstly, I think I need to mention this, that between level 5 in April and level 4 in May, Baragwanath alone, which is this one hospital where we happen to have data on it, there was a drop of about 48% in April when the lockdown started. But in May, with no alcohol present, Baragwanath experienced 30% increase in the trauma cases. And we need to understand what drove that and what are the factors that drive other factors in addition to alcohol. On alcohol itself, I think what we would have done as the industry is to propose effective measures addressing specific issues that are contributing to trauma. I think we have done a lot of work around drinking and driving. We know how that can be addressed. For instance, if we were to complement the current curfew, which we were not aware of until the president spoke, and we complement that with the measures that we are proposing on enforcement, where we help the police to be much more effective on roadblocks and so on, and to be able also to process blood much more efficiently, to be able to charge and prosecute people accordingly, we could have achieved much better outcomes just in that space of drinking and driving relating to trauma than we are doing currently. And the president himself made it very clear that these cases are happening at night. So what is the best time to implement a curfew that will force people to be at home as early as possible, especially on Fridays, Saturday, and Sundays?
Yeah, certainly an ongoing discussion. Thanks very much for your time. Thanks for weighing in on this issue. That's Sibanye Mngadi, as we continue to unpack how the alcohol industry has been affected by the ban that was reimposed, as you'll remember, last week. And it was with immediate effect, so, no contingency measures could be taken by the industry itself. It's now asking for government to suspend its sin tax obligations.